This episode of Nerdist News is sponsored by Borderlands 3. The Spider-Man Far From Home writers explain the blip. Spider-Man Far From Home climbed to the top of the box office for the second week in a row, and while the film tied a nice bow on the first three phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, fans were left with plenty of questions and theories about some aspects of Peter Parker's European vacation. And as we head into Comic-Con, where we will finally get some more information on the future of the MCU, the cats over at The Hollywood Reporter got the chance to sit down with the Far From Home writers to discuss some of these questions and theories that left fans scratching their heads, most specifically, the blip. Of course, there's a good chance if you're watching this video you have seen Spider-Man Far From Home, but if not, this is your spoiler warning. So duck out right now to get your passport stamped.
Stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up.
Still here? Great. So, what did we learn? Well, according to Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, the writers behind Far From Home, we earned a "we'll see" when asked about whether other characters in the MCU could actually be Skrulls in disguise. And we also got a "nah, brah" when asked if Edith was named for one of Howard Stark's ex-girlfriends from the Agent Carter series. But the biggest thing that came out of the interview is a deeper understanding of the blip, aka when half of the world's population popped back into existence after the Hulk snapped the Avengers version of the Infinity Gauntlet. First off, the name. Real-world Marvel fans were quick to call Thanos' little stunt the Snap. However, in Far From Home, we learned that in the MCU, the event is referred to as the blip. This is partially due to the nature of filmmaking. The Far From Home script had been in development long before the release of Avengers Infinity War, so the writers came up with the blip along with the Marvel team. Plus, they argue people who weren't there when Thanos snapped didn't know that all that destruction was due to a single snap. The writers put it this way when they started hearing fans call Thanos' actions the Snap, when in the MCU it was referred to as the blip. It made sense, but it was strange for us to hear. But also we loved the idea that the world itself came up with their own term for this thing. Of course, this tracks with how the world of the MCU would come up with their own name for the event based on the information they had on hand. People turned to dust and then reappeared. Who in the general public knew that a giant purple space god snapped his fingers and caused this? MCU head honcho Kevin Feige helped clarify this. In an interview with Fandango, he revealed that the fan term, the Snap, had made it into MCU canon, saying, "We've narrowed it down too. The Snap is when everybody disappeared at the end of Infinity War. The blip is when everybody returned at the end of Endgame." It's nice to see that good ideas from fans can be integrated into the films they love. Now, if we can only get the momentum to make the MCU Fantastic Phase 4 a thing. Hashtag it now. What are you doing?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty nice.
Another part of the blip that was addressed is the location where people popped back into existence. While the scene of the high school marching band blipping back into existence during a basketball game was pretty funny, this got fans thinking, if people were to reappear where they had disappeared 5 years earlier, does that mean thousands of people who were snapped off an airplane would show up back in the air and immediately plummet to their deaths? Thankfully, no. According to McKenna, we asked that exact question. Bruce, in making the snap back, made sure to think about everyone being safe and sound. People were not falling 35,000 feet out of the sky. That would be a bummer. Another theory that fans developed based on the trailers for Far From Home was that repeated use of the Infinity Stones caused a tear into a greater multiverse, as was claimed by Quentin Beck's Mysterio in Far From Home. While we know now that Beck was a big fat liar and his story about him coming from another Earth was made up so he could get control of Tony Stark's Edith AI system, that doesn't mean the concept of the multiverse is dead in the MCU. First, the writers explained how they arrived at Beck's plan for tricking Nick Fury and Spider-Man by saying, "Someone in the creative team pitched the multiverse idea, and immediately we said yes. That would be a great way. People would ask fewer questions. It seemed like a great way to help Beck accomplish his goal and help us get one over on the audience." However, they then went on to say, in the comic books, there are multiverses, obviously. Whether there's a multiverse in the MCU remains to be seen. So they're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance.
A multiverse of alternate timelines and what ifs is a big part of Marvel history, and a lot of comic fans would love to see it on the big screen. And if you want to see more about how Marvel could move forward with making the Marvel Cinematic Universe into a Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, check out our Nerdist News from last week where we break that down. But what do you folks think? What term do you like better, the blip or the snap? Did you trust the Hulk to make sure people reappeared safely, or did you think a bunch of people fell to their deaths? And seriously, if Marvel is open to good ideas, let's make Fantastic Phase 4 happen. Let's discuss. Thanks again to Borderlands 3 for sponsoring today's episode. The original shooter looter is back and better than ever. With 4 all-new Vault Hunters and over 1 billion guns, it's time to lock, load, and loot. Pre-order Borderlands 3 now so you can play it when it drops on Xbox One, PS4, or PC on September 13th. Let's make some mayhem.